Hello everyone. Today I'm launching a new series called WYSP, or Why You Should Play. In these videos I'm going to tell you a few things. We're not going to go too in depth, but we're going to hit on a few points. First, what is it that we're looking at? Second, what are my impressions after playing for a while? And third, where would I recommend picking up the game in 2018 and beyond? So today we're going to talk about a cool game called Spy Fiction for the PS2. What is Spy Fiction? It's Metal Gear. Seriously, it's just Metal Gear Solid with different characters. That's all it is. But that's why I bought the game, and that's the expectation I had coming into this. I love Metal Gear Solid, and I didn't have any idea that there were clone games out there that were this closely approximating the Metal Gear experience. If I had to compare Spy Fiction, I'd say it feels about like playing Metal Gear Solid 3, but without the survival aspects. You know, the camouflage and having to eat and repairing broken bones and bandaging things. None of that, but the camera moves really freely, and there are other really cool creature comforts here that aren't present in Metal Gear Solid 2, but were present in the third installment. But there are also some cool things that Spy Fiction pulled off that we wouldn't ever see in Metal Gear Solid, or at the very least wouldn't see until much later in the series. What you're seeing right now is me using the Spider Grips item, which lets you scale walls to get a better vantage point and get out of enemies' lines of sight. This is paired with a cool camouflage that always activates when you're pressed against anything in the game. Fans of Metal Gear Solid might note this ability from the fourth installment in that series that released in 2008 on the PS3, 5 years after Spy Fiction's release on the PlayStation 2 in 2003. Sure, Metal Gear Solid 4 had a much more fleshed out camo system, and this is a really loose connection. I know I'm grasping at straws, but I still think it's worth mentioning, especially because I remember playing Metal Gear Solid 4 for the first time and thinking that it was so revolutionary in its implementation of similar mechanics. This, being able to lean up against something and be camouflaged all of a sudden. Whereas if I'd played Spy Fiction first, I might not have been as floored by it. It's an interesting perspective looking back. Now, the big defining moment for Spy Fiction. You'll see in the footage that our buddy Nicholas is teaching us how to put on disguises. You learn to do this really early on in the game, and it has awesome effects on the gameplay as you solve puzzles and sneak around later on. Basically, you just have to get a picture of anyone's face and their uniform, and then you go hide in a dumpster or a barrel or whatever. But when you hop out, you'll be indistinguishable from the person you photographed. Exactly mirror image, 100% copy. So you can use this to trick enemies, cameras, biometric scanners, and more stuff. It's really, really neat, and I consider it to be one of the strongest unique features Spy Fiction has going for it. From the get-go, it's obvious that this game is trying to reproduce all of the charm of the Metal Gear Solid games. This means you'll get some cool set pieces, cutscenes, and shootouts from time to time, in addition to the normal sneaking and trying to avoid enemies altogether. I will say that I feel like maybe Spy Fiction takes itself a little bit more seriously than Metal Gear Solid, so if the campiness of Metal Gear Solid has ever put you off to the whole series, that may be another reason why you should play Spy Fiction. Get it? Why you should play, that's the name of the series. Yeah. Now, I know you're already picking up what I'm putting down by this point, but just bear with me for my impressions. This game is fantastic. It's polished, the sneaking is fun, the puzzles seem to be pretty intuitive, and most of all, it's like a brand new Metal Gear Solid game that we get to play. I mean, I'm pretty sure most of us didn't play Spy Fiction way back in the day, and now we get to play it, and it's like a brand new, very polished entry in a series that we love, hopefully. Sure, I do think there are some shortcomings. I think Metal Gear Solid gives you maybe a few more satisfying ways to sneak, for instance. There are some things you might not like, but I'm pretty easy to please. And if you think it looks great, then maybe you're just like me, and you've played enough Metal Gear to appreciate a really solid clone game, and maybe you're willing to let it be what it actually wants to be, and that's just a really, really good game in its own right. Now, full disclosure, I heard about this game through a dude named Metal Jesus on YouTube. I've been watching him for a long time. He's a retro game collector, and he makes these cool hidden gems videos where he showcases games that maybe you haven't heard of. His short blurb about Spy Fiction was enough to make me run out and get it right after I saw some gameplay. I thought it was so cool. But the bad part about it is that now this game sells for like $40 to $50 online, which is crazy. This is kind of an unfortunate side effect of a popular internet personality recommending something that's 15 plus years old and increasing demand by thousands of %. But that said, I paid about $12 for this game, and I think that you can too. Look at secondhand stores, look at flea markets, or hopefully you have a retro game resale shop nearby. I paid about $12 for the game at a store called Game Exchange, which is like a chain store in the US, all over the place. It'll probably take stores like this some time to realize that the game has spiked in popularity, so now's the time to strike and try to find your copy of Spy Fiction. I really hope you enjoyed this brief look at a game you might not have ever heard of otherwise, but if there are any other games you think I should cover in this series or in this format, let me know down in the comments. If not, at least you know now why you should play Spy Fiction. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.
Don't fight. Stand still now. I've arranged a delightful show for you. Something special.